Sesame Street, the public television show that has taught children to count, to read, to tell near from far for 45 years, has just been sold to HBO. Those of you outside the United States may be a bit confused. You probably know what Sesame Street is since it's shown in dozens of countries from Afghanistan to the United Kingdom. But you also probably know what public television is, and that's usually not something that's only available to people who can afford premium cable networks. Sesame Street's entire purpose from the very beginning was to provide entertaining, educational content that was based on good peer-reviewed research and targeted primarily to poor inner-city kids who otherwise weren't often exposed to good educational television. So the idea that that's now going to be shown on HBO, which you have to pay a lot of money to even get, has a lot of people understandably upset. Since the 1980s, Republican politicians have repeatedly threatened to revoke public funding for Sesame Street, despite the demonstrable positive effect the show has had on early children's education, which has been shown in thousands of peer-reviewed studies since the 1970s. Because of its difficulty finding and securing funding, Sesame Street has often tried other means of getting that funding through things like merchandising, toys, and books and games. But unfortunately, that still hasn't been enough, as fewer and fewer people are watching public television and more people are streaming TV shows online. So to continue to make new episodes, Sesame Street made a deal with HBO, and it's not as bad as a lot of people are making out. HBO will have exclusive rights to broadcast the show for 9 months, and after that, they give all of the episodes to public television for free. And all of the past episodes will still be available for free to public television. And because of this deal, Sesame Street will be able to produce twice as many new episodes next year, 52, one every week. And that is a huge plus for both Sesame Street, for public television, and for kids who like Sesame Street. Despite knowing all of this, there are some people who still object to this scenario, saying that it effectively splits kids into 2 tiers, rich kids who get the episodes now and poor kids who have to wait. And these people are 100% correct. On a philosophical level, this is fucked up and wrong. Our government should care enough about children's education to fully fund scientifically proven ways to better educate our children and make smarter, better adults for the future. And there are few programs that do that better than Sesame Street. But the fact of the matter is that our government does not prioritize children's education because they would rather spend billions of dollars on robots that kill people in other countries. Whatever, America, you do you. So until we get our act together, I'm actually really impressed that HBO came up with such a great deal for everyone involved. Sesame Street gets to produce new seasons, PBS gets free new episodes, and the kids won't know the difference. Seriously. Sesame Street is basically for kids from, 3 to 8 or so? And think of how you were when you were that age. It's not the same as being an adult looking forward to a new episode of Breaking Bad. Children don't really care about spoilers. In fact, when I was a kid and reruns of Sesame Street came on, I would either not realize I had already seen them because I was 3 and had the memory of a fruit fly, or I would remember that I had seen it before and I would get even more excited because if there's one thing a kid loves, it's something they've already seen before. And if you're not sure about that, ask any parent with a kid who's super into Frozen. In fact, I was surprised to learn recently that Mr. Hooper died in 1982. I was at most 2 years old. And I had no idea. I grew up knowing and loving Mr. Hooper. I loved him for a good 5 years before I realized he was dead. So no, kids are not going to give a shit that there are new episodes of Sesame Street floating around out there that they haven't gotten to see yet. And if they do, you're raising shitty kids, and you should probably change that. So is the HBO deal a bad thing? Yes and no. It's a great thing for kids and for Sesame Street. But at the end of the day, it is incredibly embarrassing in that it shows the rest of the world how little the United States government truly values children's education.